Feel free right now to start in a seated shape, unless you want to lay down, whatever works for you. I'll probably say that again after I get all of this stuff situated, at least there. Okay, perfect. There's my little New Jersey candle. Anyway, so welcome. Allow yourself to either lay back down or sit down, however you want to become comfortable. Maybe use a prop, maybe you don't. But once you're ready, when you feel that you can settle, let yourself find stillness. And then maybe you close your eyes. If the eyes won't comfortably close, just keep the gaze soft, not looking at anything specific. And then we'll begin to arrive into the space of our body. Maybe taking slower and deeper breaths. And whether the eyes are slightly open or closed, arrive into your internal gaze. Whatever you're seeing, whatever you're looking at, arrive into that space. As we continue to settle into our yin practice, focusing on awareness, we'll allow our awareness to explore, to become stronger. And if we ever lose focus, there's no need to be mad at awareness. We just gather our awareness and come back to focus. But throughout our practice, at first, the awareness may see what is obvious, and then we'll allow ourselves to see past that. We'll see the practice at face value, and then we'll see that deeper meaning behind that as our awareness continues to grow within our experience. So continue to take your breaths as you draw your senses inward. We'll find a cleansing breath here together. Let's inhale through the nose. And open the lips to exhale. Again, like that. Deep breath in. And a deep breath out. One more time. Full inhale. And complete exhale. Take a moment to arrive back into the cleansing breath. And just notice any warmth within the belly, the chest, anywhere within the face. You're more than welcome to keep the hands relaxed wherever they are, or you can bring them into a prayer shape at heart center. Listening or joining me for the sound of Om as we open our space, taking a deep breath in. Very gently bowing your chin towards your chest. Take a moment to allow the vibrations to settle within the heart space. Allow them to reverberate off of the walls of the inner body, and allow them to seal your intentions for practice. So whenever you're ready, you can slowly open the eyes, relax your hands, welcoming yourself back into the space. We're going to come out of our seated position, and then we're going to start our class doing a double stretch, and the stretch will be at opposite sides. So for example, we're going to start in open wing. In open wing, you may just find one pillow or a blanket to support the head. Okay. So we're going to actually start with open wing on the right side. So once we come to lay down, you're going to have your right arm open out to T. Right? We'll want to bring the arm behind us. So once I open up the right arm behind me there, I'll twist open. Knees will come into the chest. Legs are straightening. Maybe the top leg drops back. Okay. But once we come out of open wing, right, we'll do this slowly. But once we come out of open wing, we're going to bring our arms up above the head, and then we're going to curve our body to the left so that we can take banana. Okay. So just so you know, I could talk about banana a little later once we're there, but that's going to be the little sequence that we'll do. The right arm will open out into that T shape to take open wing. And then after that, we'll take banana. So I can show open wing again, just in case anyone needs to see another view. Right arm opens out to T. I'll have my blanket to support my head. Once I lay down, I'll bring my back to you guys. I'll roll into my right shoulder so that the arm is behind me. Okay. From there, the knees can come into the chest, legs on top of the other, or maybe that top leg draws back. The knee could bend even. Okay, so we'll start there in open wing, and then after that, we'll transition into banana. Your left arm can stay in front of you, or you can reach that left arm up and around the low back to take a half bind. And whenever you're ready, you'll close your eyes. Come to stillness. And we'll begin to allow ourselves these breaths of arrival. Continuing to draw our senses inward. Whenever you're ready, you'll find yourself softening. You may notice that softening begins through the outer layers. Just an overall feeling of relaxation. And then as you spend time softening, it will become a little more diligent. Maybe softening with more care and precision. And of course, we'll spend time breathing into sensation. At times, you may be fully aware of the stretch itself. And then you may become aware of other parts of this experience. And staying present with your breath. Maybe you'll check in to your internal screen and noticing what presents itself here. Realizing that there's more than what meets the eye. Allow yourself to find one more full cleansing breath. And then from there, if you have the left arm back behind you, we'll slowly guide that left palm up and in front of the chest. If your legs are apart, guide one back on top of the other. And then you'll slowly roll out of that right shoulder and you'll roll onto your chest and onto your belly. You can let the arms relax wherever is most comfortable. That right shoulder will start to rebound. And before we even transition, if you want to kick the feet up and windshield wiper the knees side to side, you're welcome to. We'll fully take our rebound after banana though. Okay, so we'll start to walk ourselves onto our forearms. We'll roll right onto our back. Okay, arms come up above the head. You'll still feel the subtle sensations of that right arm as we begin to curve our upper body to the left. Okay, so now we're curving our upper body to the left. The right shoulder may start to lift off of the ground, and that was the arm that was just an open wing. So if you need to prop your shoulder or prop the back of your head or prop your forearms, you can. Your upper body will continue to curve, and maybe your knees are just going to stay bent here, or you'll allow your lower body to curve to the left as well. Your heels can relax on the floor. If you want, you can have your right ankle crossed over the left. Or maybe your right knee bends and the foot steps outside of the left leg. You're welcome to take any of these variations throughout your time. We want to try not to take the deepest sensation the quickest, right? We don't want to rush into it. So just because you're capable of a certain variation doesn't mean you have to do it. And it feels so, like even weird to say, because many of us are capable of many things. And oftentimes we do things because we want to be capable. But here we're trying to, really grow our awareness. And growing our awareness allows us to notice and observe. Right? Yes, we may be capable, but what does the body actually need at this point in time? If you haven't softened yet, begin to do so. As we soften and let go of unnecessary tension, we may find ourselves sitting within another layer of our awareness. And when we make decisions with our awareness, it's the opposite of acting out of pattern. So if we find ourselves in similar yin poses, always taking the same variation, always expecting the same thing, well, then you're not acting out of awareness, you're acting out of pattern. When we act out of awareness, we are noticing and we are feeling and we are tuning in to what is needed. So we'll spend a few more moments here with the breath. And then whenever you're ready, moving slowly, we'll begin to fully transition out of the stretch. We'll transition out of our banana shape. Take your time, no rush. Maybe finding yourself in a few counter movements. Does a twist feel good here? Maybe windshield wipering the knees. Maybe even hugging the legs into your chest. But after your counter movements, this is when we'll take rebound. So you'll find your rebound shape. Again, you'll close your eyes and settle into stillness. And just take a moment to notice and observe. There may be something specific, maybe something obvious. Or if you look past what's obvious, you'll notice maybe more subtle sensations. Maybe you notice a thought, maybe you notice a feeling. Maybe you just notice this meditative space that we've arrived in. Now, within this rebound shape, you're more than welcome to stay exactly where you are. Or if you're interested in stretching into open wing and banana, we'll begin to awaken out of our rebound. And sometimes when we awaken out of rebound, we'll also find a few intuitive movements whatever feels good. And then we'll roll to the belly. So from the belly, our left arm will come out to T. Okay. So again, you may want that pillow or blanket to support the head or neck. With your left arm out to T, you'll be rolling into the left shoulder so the right hip is on top. And then you can keep your right hand in front of you. You could bring it up and around the low back and take a half bind. And then once you find the best placement for your legs, you can close your eyes and settle into stillness. Again, you may be focusing on the quality of sensation, the type of sensation. Your focus may stay within the body, or it may transcend from the body. But whether your consciousness and focus is on the stretch itself, or if it's elsewhere in thought or in theory, the fascia is going to stretch no matter what. The body doesn't need to have our consciousness present, stretch the arm, stretch the back, or whatever it is. It's the beauty of the practice that we still can have the fascial stretch and release while also engaging in a meditative experience or an emotional experience or a thoughtful experience. Reminding us that we are more than just the physical body. And just looking at it, looking at what's obvious, we won't know that. Someone just observing us on the ground and in different shapes, maybe they can guess we're stretching. But just seeing what's obvious, we won't know what you're thinking, what you're feeling. How the echoes of the fascia guide you through thought and emotion and experience. The stillness here facilitates this interconnection of all layers. So let yourself find one more full cycle of breath in your open wing. And then when you're ready, if the right arm is bounded behind you, we'll slowly guide it in front of us. If the legs are apart, we'll guide one on top of the other until you slowly roll out of the shoulder and onto the belly. You can place your arms wherever would be most comfortable for a moment. And maybe you wiggle into the hips a little bit, or at least kick the feet up and windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Letting the fascia catch up somewhat. And then when you're ready, we'll immediately roll to the to the back. We'll roll onto the back. Arms will come up above the head, and then we're going to need to curve our banana to the right side. So you'll inchworm your lower body to the right. This time the left shoulder is on the outside, so if you need to prop the shoulder or prop the back of the head, you can. And no need to feel that the arms have to be super close. Your arms could be really wide, your elbows can be bent. Maybe your arms are even closer to your body, right? Maybe the collarbones or the shoulder is healing from something. So no need to always have the arms up above the head. But of course, if you want your lower body to curve as well, you'll walk your right leg and then your left leg to the right. Heels can stay relaxed. You can cross your left ankle over the right ankle, or you can bend your left knee and plant your foot to the floor. When you're ready, you'll close your eyes, settling into stillness as that signals to the body that we've arrived. As we patiently allow ourselves to soften, let it be a humbling experience as we let go of unnecessary tension, release any clenching or gripping that you notice. You may find yourself checking in with the breath. You may find yourself checking in with the internal gaze at the backs of the eyelids. And again, at times your awareness may be on something specific in relation to the body. Or maybe you're out daydreaming within your space. Notice how this heightened sense of awareness rejuvenates all of our sensory systems. Notice expansion within the breath, reclaimed space within the body. If you'd like to stay a little longer, you're more than welcome to. Or whenever you're ready, we'll begin to slowly release out of our banana shape. Take your time, of course. The slower you move, the better. And as we allow the fascial tissue to contract back, you'll begin to notice any counter movements that feel exciting. And then eventually you'll come to that place of rebound. It takes a different type of awareness to notice what counter movements are desirable, what feels comforting to the body. And then that same awareness is going to guide you to that particular place of rebound, whether you're laying, sitting, standing, whatever it is. It's this meditative moment where nothing else matters except the experience of the body and your awareness of it. Let's take another moment here with the breath. And then if you'd like to stay in rebound a little longer, you're more than welcome to. Or when you're ready, you can slowly open the eyes, maybe take a counter movement or two as you awaken. And then I'm going to show us the next stretch that we're going to come into. And it's going to be an option. You have the option to do both of these options or just do one. Now, depending on what props you have at home, you may choose to do option A instead of option B, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just giving everybody options, okay? So if you have a block, whether it's a cork block or a softer block, it could be either or, we're gonna take that to the back of the mat. And if you don't have a block, then maybe you would use a pillow or a blanket here just so that the head is supported. But once we come back to lay down, you'll move your hair if you do have long hair, and then you're going to walk the block right at the base of the skull and the top of the neck, right? If you're just using a pillow or a blanket, you would just support the head naturally, okay? But for the block, if you were to take your thumbs and find those little divots, those are the occipital lobes, and I love to say that word. Also mandible and zygomatic arch, which is the cheekbone, and mandible, the jawbone, are like my three favorite bones to say. But anyway, so the occipital lobe there, you know, you're going to find the edge of that, and then the line of the block is what's going to press down. But really the gravity of your head pressing is on the block. So you're going to start to look left and look right. You're going to find maybe sensitive areas closer towards the ears, or maybe if you tuck your chin, or maybe if you lift your chin, you can start to move the head in circles. You know, you can even find sensitive areas along the top part of the head. But essentially, you could do this through moving side to side. And then whenever you find a sweet spot, like right now I'm on something, I would just breathe, you know, and then breathe until my edge is really being challenged. And then maybe I'd have to find another one. So feel free to do it through movement or finding a sweet spot, stay a little bit, and then you can move again. But this is option one. So if you do have a block, you're welcome to do this, you know, and then your legs can be relaxed here. And, or you can bring the soles of the feet in butterfly, okay? So if you don't have a block at home, or if you don't want to do this for the back of the head, you'll just keep the head relaxed to the floor, or, you know, on a pillow or a blanket, and then you'll just take butterfly. In your butterfly shape, you may still want to find your blocks or your pillows or your blankets to prop your knees and thighs, you know, if interested. Usually both butterfly and using the block under my head are both very, very intense. So I will do these separately. I don't like doing them together. So feel free to do the same thing and just allow the legs to relax. But if you want to take both, you're welcome to it. And if you don't have a block or don't want to use a block, maybe you can support the spine and support the back of the head with any bolsters or blankets and things. Whenever you're ready, you can keep your palms near you, away from you, maybe slightly up above the head. Still find yourself softening no matter what option, no matter what variation you're taking. And there's a lot of patience that arrives when we're in stillness, when we soften. Because that tighter area of the fascia, it's not going to be completely healed right away. You know, there's patience that we endure as we travel through the discomfort. And we'll still relax through the muscles of the face, unclench the teeth. It's interesting to notice, if you are using the block underneath the head, what other areas of the body feel sensation just from the engagement. The release of the fascia in the skull can help the shoulders relax, can help the rest of the spine release. Sometimes you'll even feel pulses in your hands or in your feet. But it's this type of patience that allows us to reform our emotions. And it's this particular type of patience that replenishes the body. And that same type of patience also refines the mind. So maybe patience and awareness kind of go hand in hand here. Continue to stay present with your breath. Now, if you're using the block, you'll keep it where it is, but we'll want to begin to first awaken the legs. So if you have been spending time in butterfly, everyone can slowly release through the knees. Maybe you straighten the legs. If the legs have been straightened, maybe now you bend the knees. Just find a little awakening for the thighs, the knees, and the feet. And then we can awaken our arms here. We can maybe even take a stretch. So we'll reach the arms up above the head for a moment. And then if you have that block underneath you, you'll find the block, gently lift the head. And as you remove the block, you'll lower the head down. Letting the fascia contract back, you'll find some counter movements. And if you don't need any counter movements, maybe you stay exactly where you are. But within your own time and space, you'll settle into that place to pause, where our awareness may find itself humming or buzzing around the body. Maybe even practicing patience here as we take a moment to observe before going on to the next thing. Allowing yourself to soften even here. And if you want to stay in rebound a little longer, you're more than welcome to. Or maybe we take a moment to hug our knees into the chest. You can wrap around the shins or the thighs. It may even feel good to reach the forehead up to the knees, lengthening from the back of the neck. And then you can roll either to the left or to the right. And then we'll start to walk our palms beneath us so that we can lift up through the head and chest, slowly coming back to a seated place so that we can transition into deer. Okay, so I'll turn to the side so that you can see me here. Taking a blanket or a pillow to prop my tailbone, right? Maybe you'll do the same. Left knee, so if I was sitting cross-legged, I'll keep my left shin in front of me and my right knee behind me. Scooch back. Okay, so in doing that, left shin in front, right knee behind, and I can show it this way too, in case you need to see it. But I usually like to support my left hip, right? Especially if you feel like you're gonna fall, because all of our weight is in that left hip. It may just make more sense to prop the tailbone. So if that interests you, you're welcome to it. Now, having your shin may be more of on an acute angle, you know, kind of closed off, or your shin will open up. Maybe it's parallel to the top of the mat, or maybe it's more of an obtuse angle, slightly bigger, right? So it really depends on your leg and your sensation and where you want to start. So no right or wrong. You'll take your pillows and blankets and maybe even using blocks to stack things higher, blocks or books. Your back right knee is also relaxed, you know, and if you know this shape, you're more than welcome to just forward fold and go right into it. But in case not, your knee can be super close or farther away. You know, it just depends again on what you want to observe today on this particular experience. Some people may have their toes pointed out to the side so that their arch is on the floor, and other people may even tuck those toes and the top of the foot is on the floor instead. But no right or wrong, so just do what's best for your ankle. If at any point you don't want to round into the spine, you're welcome to take a blanket or your pillow and just wrap your arms around the body and have more of a straighter spine. Whenever you're ready, we'll close the eyes and we'll find stillness. And again, you may be capable of feeling sensation while also clenching the teeth and squeezing the belly and squeezing the glutes and squeezing the toes. You may be capable. But capability is only going to get you so far. Adding this layer of softness is where we grow within the experience. We may be facing newer forms of discomfort, whether it's through stillness or through quiet or through sensation itself. So again, take your time as you release whenever you're ready. You can always check in with the breath as a helpful guide. And then again, maybe you're reflecting on this idea of patience. Patience within yourself, patience within your awareness. I'm spending another moment here. And within your shape of deer, you'll find maybe 1 or 2 full cycles of breath. And whether you decide to stay a little longer, or within your own time, you'll begin to press down into the floor, slowly walking yourself up and out of deer. You may even choose to sit like that for a moment or two. And then with the eyes closed or the gaze soft, you may find yourself unraveling. Legs could straighten, maybe taking a gentle fold there. Sometimes I'll cross my shins to reach the arms up above the head, and even side body stretching or gently twisting. And then, of course, you'll take the body to that moment to rebound. For right now, I'll guide myself into child's pose. Maybe you're in something similar or something completely different. But just let it be comfortable to you. Just allow yourself to sit within the company of your breath, sit within the company of your body. Sit within the company of the mind and the heart. And all the subtle sensations from fascia. All the responses that the nerves are sending to you. So from here, if you'd like to stay in your rebound, you're more than welcome to. Or whenever you're ready, we'll make our way back to a seated shape, and then we'll take deer on the opposite side. So coming to sit down, okay, again, the right shin will come in front of us, the left knee, left shin back behind us. And again, if there's a lot of sitting and just a lot of tension in that right hip, it's way more beneficial to support the tailbone or at least the right glute so that you're not fighting your body to sit in stillness. From there, you'll take your blankets and your pillows and whatever you're using to support yourself as you fold over the right shin. Maybe you're also just wrapping them around the body and then walking your arms above them, over them, and sitting a little more tall. But if you are choosing to forward fold, you can create your stack as much as, or as high as you'd like. So much so that you can support the forehead even. Maybe as you enter into the stretch, your main focus is connecting to everything else. And the stretch itself just being that little something extra. Or maybe when you settle into stillness, your focus is first geared towards the stretch. And then everything else is that little something extra. Regardless where your focus is, the intelligence of the body will have the fascia stretch, release, de-knot and de-strict itself. And sometimes, depending on any previous exercises or any previous work that we've done over the weekend, the week before, those are layers of fascia that we will indeed stretch into. But those deeper layers, they've been with us. We're stretching into fascia that may be tightened and over tightened from previous injury, whether that's known consciously or unknown. You could be stretching into deeper layers of fascia that has just accumulated from emotional stress, mental stress, environmental stress, biochemical stress. So the response to the tightened fascia comes from a lot more than just a physical representation. And we'll just be mindful of that and patient with ourselves. And spending another moment with your breath here. And then whenever you're ready, we'll slowly begin to release from our deer shape. No rush at all. Your eyes can be completely closed when you're doing this, or maybe the gaze is soft. But no need to look at anything specific. You'll take your own natural movements facing any direction in your room. You may find your hands massaging into the body. You may find yourself laying down within counter movements, coming to sit within counter movements. And then eventually you'll find that time to pause and rebound. Allowing the fascia to catch up with itself. Allowing the breath to catch up with itself. It's one of the reasons why drinking water is so important with fascial work. Same thing, like if you get a massage, okay, they'll tell you to drink water, maybe after acupuncture, maybe after chiropractor, maybe after foam rolling or whatever. But the health of the fascia needs that water so that we lubricate the areas rather than dehydrate them. Okay, so if you're ready, You can welcome yourself out of rebound. If you're not ready, stay in rebound a little more. And then I'm going to have us come into a toe stretch, including a wrist stretch, or maybe you won't do the toes and you'll just work with the hands. So that will be your choice, whatever you want to do. Okay. But if you're going to come into toe stretch, maybe you find a blanket, you'll prop your knees, allow your toes to tuck against the floor as you sit back on your heels, right? So that will be the toe stretch part. Of course, you can take your blocks or your stacked pillows and things, and you can always hinge forward so that all your weight isn't on your toes. That will be less of a stretch. Or you can bring your weight back. Okay, now for the wrists, take your palms and bring them, your fingers are pointing up, but you'll bring them to your hips, right? Or maybe you'll walk them to your rib cage, or maybe you'll walk them towards your armpits. And then you're going to allow yourself to stretch here. You'll kind of feel like a duck or a bird a little bit. But once you start to relax, you may get sensations through the forearms, into the upper arm, and also into the fingers and the wrists. So feel free to just come to a seated shape and just stretch the wrists. Maybe you do both toe stretch and wrist stretch, or maybe you just do toes. But either way, they're probably going to be intense, so we'll find that deeper breath. Can you find yourself also softening and releasing, letting go of as much unnecessary tension as possible? Staying focused here. If you are stretching the wrists, slowly lift up the hands. Let the back of the hand now touch the body as the fingers point down. So I'm just going to flip my wrists, fingers pointing down. Maybe one hand is stretching more than the other. Maybe one foot is stretching more than the other. Trying to breathe as evenly as you can. Still trying to soften as we simultaneously release and receive. Now, if your hands are still on the sides of your body, you'll slowly release one hand and the other, and maybe you find them shaking, or you can move through the wrists. And then we'll slowly hinge forward. Palms can come to the ground. You can untuck your toes. It may feel good to tap the taps of the feet quickly. Sometimes I'll also pick up my feet and just shake them. But it may feel good to straighten out your legs, right? You'll do whatever you want here, just as you've done the whole practice. Just do what's intuitive, what feels natural and organic within the body. And then when you're ready, we'll prepare ourselves for Shavasana, which will be our final rebound. And that's one of the good things about yin, is that there's no predetermined decisions, right? If it feels if it feels like that's what you need today, right, then that's what we do. And if you feel something different, then you go do that. Beautiful. So in Shavasana, if you want to lay down and find your props to support you that way, you're welcome to it. If you'll be more comfortable on your belly, take Shavasana on your belly. If you want to roll to your side body and have your knees in the chest, you can do that as well. And of course, if there was a yin pose that you wanted to do that we didn't get a chance to do, you can always guide yourself into that particular shape. But taking any final last little movements. And then when you're ready, you'll allow yourself to settle. Finding that stillness here, signaling to the body that we've arrived. And we'll welcome ourselves to Shavasana. gently, let's begin to deepen our breath. And gently guiding ourselves back towards the space of our bodies. And then coming back into the space of your individual room. And then come back into the space of the room that we energetically share. You'll begin to notice the tilt of the chin, the placement of your hands, and the placement of your feet. And then you'll take some small, gentle movements to awaken. Maybe moving through the hands and wrists while moving through the feet and ankles. Within your own time, of course, you can reach the arms up and above the head to take a full body stretch. Maybe the knees bend one at a time and you guide them all the way towards the chest. You can rock gently on the tailbone side to side. And then intuitively roll to the left or to the right. You can end your practice on your side body here, or maybe you'll gently walk yourself up to a seated shape. Of course, end practice however you'd like, no better or worse. And then once you find stillness, you'll reclose the eyes in case they've opened. Taking a moment to reflect on your practice. Noticing the reclaimed space within the body. Notice the space of the breath, any clarity in the mind. And staying connected to your awareness here. You can keep your hands relaxed within your lap, or you can bring them into a prayer shape at heart center. Listening or joining me for the sound of Om as we close our class. We'll take a deep breath in. Very gently bowing your chin towards your chest. Thank you for practicing with me this evening, being elevated through yoga. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.